Imogen, and today I'm going to be talking about one of my favourite houseplant species, which are Peperomia. Other than a few specific varieties like the watermelon peperomia, I found them to be quite underrated in the houseplant community, which is sad because they truly are a fab plant. So in this video I'm going to take you through my peperomia collection and give you a few care tips, and then explain why I think you should add peperomia to your plant collection. So firstly, I'm going to show you my peperomia. I have 6 different types of peperomia. So starting over here, this is my Peperomia Orba Pixie. It's a cute little plant which I got at a garden centre, and I repotted that in my houseplant maintenance vlog. It's got sort of lovely oval shaped green leaves that are a bit soft actually, and although I guess it looks a little bit understated as it's just a green plant, I still really like it. We all need those basics. Moving up, this is my Peperomia Graveolens. I did talk about this in my recent houseplant haul video, so I won't repeat everything I said. I really like the leaf shape on this plant. They're sort of folded in half, like little hard taco shells, and is much more sort of succulenty than the Pixie. It needs water less frequently because of those succulent leaves, but I still water it when the soil is dry. This is my Peperomia Frost. I bought this one fairly recently, but immediately repotted it because it was in a pot with no drainage holes, so I put it in a little plastic one that you probably can't see and into another pot that I had spare. I really like this. It's got sort of silvery green leaves, and you can see the comparison to the Pixie as to how different they look. With the silvery leaves, it also has that kind of glittery sheen that plants like the Tradescantia zebrina also have. The leaves are a lovely teardrop shape and have these nice deep veins. In terms of the sort of stem and leaf shape, it's kind of similar to the next plant, which is the Peperomia Caperata Lillian. So like the Frost, this has kind of lots of stems with a leaf on the end, which give it the kind of mound shape that you can see. This Caperata was actually the first peperomia I got, and I actually bought it because it was on sale. The leaves are a lovely dark green and kind of rippled. I think there are a few other Caperata which are also this kind of wrinkly texture, but in all different colours. With this and the Peperomia Frost, I don't really water it too much because the leaves do feel somewhat succulent, although not to the same extent as the Graveolens. Again, I tend to just water this when it is looking a bit sad or droopy, and that seems to be alright. This one is quite close to the sun, but I do rotate it so it doesn't just grow in one direction, which is a mistake that I have made with the Graveolens. You can see that it is all pointing leftwards, which is obviously the direction of the window where it normally lives. But yeah, that's my Caperata Lillian. So this is the Peperomia Prostrata, commonly known as a string of turtles. This is just a little one of some strings that I'm propagating because my mother string of turtles is quite big and likes to drop leaves when I move her. I'm sure I've shown you in other videos. This one is quite different because it is a string of kind of plant, and these stems will trail over the edge of the pot when the leaves get a little bit bigger. I love the markings on the leaves. As the name would suggest, they're sort of little turtle shells, but it's got a really nice sort of variegation which looks different on each leaf. Watering is a bit different for my string of turtles because my big one is in a hanging pot, so I water it from the bottom. I think I've shown you that process in my houseplant maintenance vlog. This one is in a terracotta pot. I have also been watering it both from the bottom in this little dish and also the top, just depending on how I'm feeling. The final peperomia I want to show you is not really a plant at all. So that is these little cuttings. I mean, I don't know if they're even cuttings, they're just leaves at this point. These were a plant swap. I swapped some Tradescantia cuttings and a baby Chinese money plant for these. I think this is a Peperomia Obtusifolia variegated, but I haven't looked into it too much, so tell me if you recognise these leaves as a different type. But yeah, not much to say on these yet. Hopefully in a few months, or probably longer, I'll have some nice new plants to show you. And that's it. That's all of my peperomia. There are loads of varieties of peperomia. It's been estimated that there are over 1,500 types. To give you a comparison to other popular houseplant species, there's about 50 different varieties of monstera and I think about 75 types of todescantia. So 1,500 is truly loads. As you'll have seen from my little collection, the different varieties can look vastly different from one another. For instance, I never would have guessed that the Graveolens and the string of turtles were related. They just look completely different from one another. This is the first thing that I think is great about peperomia, because everybody should be able to find at least some that they like the look of. Related to this, the second reason to get peperomia is, at least for me in the UK, they're really easily available. I got my Peperomia Frost from a supermarket, and I've definitely seen other varieties at other supermarkets too. The others I have are from plant shops or garden centres, but anywhere that sells houseplants will probably have some peperomia on offer. They're often fairly cheap as well, so the Peperomia Frost was $2.99 and my Peperomia Pixie was also $2.99. My big string of turtles was a bit more expensive, but that was from a plant shop, and it's also a lot bigger than my Frost and Pixie were when I bought it. In general, I think peperomia are an affordable way to add to your plant collection. Thirdly, on the whole, peperomia are quite easy to propagate. You can grow them from seed if you plant flowers, but I think cuttings are the way to go. The stems root easily in water, or as you'll have seen in my collection, I've tried just sticking a leaf in soil, and I think if you put a leaf or a stem in soil, then in a few weeks you should start to have some shoots, which is really straightforward. I am planning on doing a video on propagation in the future, so I'll show you that method more in detail then. Finally, in my experience, peperomia are really easy to care for. Touch wood, I haven't found them particularly susceptible to disease or pests, and they seem to be tolerant of infrequent waterings and both medium and bright light conditions, and I found them also to be quite fast growing. So that's it, my peperomia collection and care, and some reasons why I think you should add peperomia to your plant collection. I'd love to know if you have peperomia and what your favourite types are, so let me know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!